want to inspire people to know that they can be themselves and they can be loud about who they are, and it's okay to be that. It's okay to take yourself seriously and feel good about it. Go and do it, because we need more people like that.
I think that what we've done in the past 6 months has been some of the most I've grown as a person ever in the fastest amount of time.
Live?
Bark, 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 bark. No, we're going to the gym after this. You don't need to do that.
Dude, I can lift on one.
Yeah, but you don't need
tequila.
to. You don't need to.
I don't need to. I want
You
to.
don't need to.
Shout out to our sponsors. Desnuda Tequila. You should drink some.
Also our client.
Yeah.
Shout out Launch Socials. If you guys want to grow your social media brand, click the link in the description, launchsocials.co.
Book a call.
UTM_source associates.
Pretty based.
Yeah, episode 29, we're back. First time you and me have recorded
In a very, very long time.
Long time.
Cool. Well, what would you like to
And we're drinking on a plastic. Soul Bro would not be happy with this. He's not watching this episode.
But what he doesn't know is my body metabolizes plastic and turns it right into testosterone.
Facts. We've adapted. We've adapted.
When you're fucking Hyperborean Hulk.
Let's give a quick update. What are we doing?
Oh, yeah. Well, right now we're filming a podcast.
No, what have we been doing, though? We've been working, man.
When was the last time we recorded just you and I?
Got your phone right there. We recorded our last episode in March. Our last episode that just went live in May was like recorded a month and 3 weeks ago.
Are you serious? It's been that long?
Soul Bro.
Maybe that's why I feel so fucking autistic right now.
Interesting.
Interesting.
But we recorded, I don't know, we stopped recording.
The Wi-Fi's not pulling it up.
We stopped recording, that's a different discussion we can talk about. We stopped recording in what? November, October, November, December, January, and then we started in February, recorded like 10, and we stopped for 2 months because we were working. We were working on the funnels, brother.
My boy had me in them Google Sheets like a motherfucker.
We were getting it done,
Cranking it out.
We've been making a lot of progress, though.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Good.
It's super cool. Like, I know it's like we started the pod to document, right? And then it just like kind of.
And now we have the vlog to document.
And then it just grew like crazy. And now so the past month, if you're listening to this,
and if you're new too, a lot of you probably came from maybe the Luke Belmar pod or the Sneeko episode or the Greg episode. Got a lot of new eyeballs from that. Maybe we throw a quick update in there like, what's up? Hit it.
Yeah, so, I mean, Nick and I started the pod a year ago, basically, just to document, get clips as we started our new company, Launch Socials, about a year, coming up on a year. And, yeah, it's just grown like crazy in the past 2 months. I mean, I just feel like we keep going through these, like, the past even 6 months maybe.
Since November. Since I shut down the agency and focused full-time on the company, I felt personally just like...
I kind of did the same with fitness stuff. And, we've just been in the portal, bro, like, just actually building. It's super cool. Now we're here, and we moved into a house with our whole... Well, not our whole team, but... The core team, videographer, sales, me, you, and I.
Me, you, and I. Yeah, there we go, brother.
That accounts for
the voices in your head.
It sure does. But yeah, man, we're here and it's cool. I'm super excited. I feel like we finally have, I mean, to me, the house just feels like the culmination of everything. And we finally have the right setup. Like,
what do you mean by the right setup?
Well, like, there was just so many things that caused a little bit of friction, you know? I think you and I were, it's not that much, but the MacArthur away, you know, from South Beach to Brickell, it's just friction. If we want to work together, it's at least an hour out of our day for one of us. Yeah. And just a big pain in the ass. And then also that creates it creates an even bigger pain in the ass for Matt, our videographer, to film stuff.
What it does, like us being in person, it speeds up the iteration. Because like to iterate before, you either have to drive, which traffic, you're off schedule, that type of thing, or you have to jump on a Zoom call.
Fuck Zoom.
You have to figure something out, or you got to text about it, and it's not the same in regards to you don't have the same level of communication. Now we're just in person, and it's like, come downstairs, Logan, what do you think of this? Wait, let's get on the whiteboard real quick. Yo, Matt, fix this. Why aren't you doing your job, man? And we finally got him filming back there. This show up in the vlog. Man. Yeah, finally. We got to remind him, you know.
Yeah.
But
he'll get
fast. He'll get there, man. We got to put Matt in the vlogs a little bit.
Yeah, we will.
But for anyone watching, Matt is our videographer, cameraman, extraordinaire, editor. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah. And but there was just friction. There's a lot of friction, and we grew the company to a point where we could afford the overhead to have a house and have the main team here for 6 months and do a big sprint.
Yeah.
You know, I think that in general, it's not something that's sustainable, at least long term. I don't you can't do this for 5 years, but you can do it super hardcore for 6 months, all in the same spot, all iterating and working on the same problems at the same time. That's how we're going to 5 to 10x what we're currently doing from a revenue number standpoint in this period, in my opinion.
Yeah, and for me, this environment is so huge because it's number one, I think just being away from Miami, we moved a bit north in Florida, and just being out of that, it's just there's not so much shit flying around.
And I don't hate Miami at all. I think Miami's a great place to be.
Yeah, I love it there. It's just for what we're trying to do, this is a much better environment. And also I feel like now too, I have all the different outlets because I'm extroverted and social, and I can't just, I super respect the way that you operate. It's not for me. And so now I have this set. I have everything in one place, you know. I can make a beat at 10 a.m. and then get on a Zoom call at 11, or do something with you for the business at 11.
I guess I'm just very disciplined and I've always been that way. I'll get very focused on what the thing is at hand. Yeah. That is the objective and the goal. And until it's hit, I just don't really pull back from it.
Yeah, I mean, I was just born to be a rock star, so...
Fair enough, man.
I kind of need that outlet, and I need to be able to go and, just get a new change of pace.
Be a bubby.
Get some dopamine running. And so, yeah, dude, we're here, and it's super exciting because I feel like now, we can do this every day. Mm-hmm. And we've gotten...
Oh, we're going to bombard them with podcasts and vlogs every day. Matt, what's going on with the next vlog, man?
It's coming, man. It'll be here soon.
It's coming. It's coming.
But yeah, it's really just I feel like now finally we have, or I at least personally have the outlet where I can do all the different things and have all the aspects of me in one place, and it makes sense. Mm-hmm. It all makes sense together.
Let's talk about our business and what we've done so far, and what we've done basically in the past 3 months, because a lot of our last episodes have been interviews. But let's talk about some of the strategies that we're doing and what, the iteration that we've gone through. First to me, it was, up until October, November period, really into December. Yeah, and Black Friday period where we didn't hit what we wanted to do for Black Friday. We're what is going on?
Yeah.
Asking ourselves that question. That first piece that we started in November, December was the iteration of our fulfillment and our product itself.
Yeah.
And we came out of that the other side with just this crazy, crazy product that is different than any coaching, consulting, anything that anyone's ever seen, right? It's very much a hybrid of a done-for-you service, but we're able to remove our time from it immensely, which makes it very scalable for us.
Yeah.
And it actually solves a real problem. We're not just shilling a PDF, right? We make that joke a lot, right?
Yeah, or even just, I look back at it about a year ago when we started it, and I just feel like both you and I, me with my own content and just the skill set I built selling other people's stuff or building my fitness companies and getting people results inside of that, and then you with your agency, I view that maybe the 4 years after we grew up and then we dropped out and started building leverage. We learned things, we built skills, we got people results for things, and then we started this new thing as an idea. I remember calling you with the idea of Long Socials, yo, we should do something like this. And you wanted to build your own business versus just client businesses, and I wanted to move more into the marketing world.
And I felt like I had already kind of done that thing where I'm building for people. Mm-hmm. We're building for people right now. We're helping people build their thing and through education or service kind of. And I had done that at the agency because I'd already built the pages. So I was like, here's proof that this works.
Yeah.
And this is the next iteration of that for me, at least.
Yeah, and it's super. So we had that like chapter of doing that and being like actually just getting good at things and understanding how it all works.
Which is super important for anyone watching this. You can't just start a consulting business. Like, you need to be able to consult on something. You know, you have to be able to, like, well, I've seen this and this before. Here's the numbers. Here's how it lines up. You should do this.
Yeah.
Based on my experience. Some people, I don't know, they go into consulting and it's just like, yeah, man, like
or coaching or info product, they just want to skip steps essentially. But so I view it, man, like we did that and built that base, and then we started it out, and we were still kind of, it was just like a test, basically. Like, could this work for the first 3 or 4 months? And
it clearly did.
Yeah, it clearly did. And then when we kind of went all in on it, the past 6 months, dude, have just been a portal of like building, number one.
Yeah, first was fulfillment.
Yeah, number one, really building a great product. And our product's amazing.
Yeah,
we
super proved that we could sell it, and then we built it into something super great.
Yep. And then from there, it was like, all right, how do we now build a team? That was the next step, building a team.
Specifically, and then, like, to me, sales was that next. Like, fulfillment and the fulfillment team came, and then the sales piece came. We realized that there's a lot of holes there in the sales process.
Yeah.
And we've been selling pretty much off brand equity this entire time.
Yeah.
We haven't really brought in new following.
It's super funny because I think both you and I had so much background in sales that we just like assumed
sales is good.
Yeah, fine, fuck it. Let's sell it, you know? And we built that out, and then we built the marketing systems in the team.
To me, that's like the final piece. Like, we have the marketing systems in the team, and I can see it the same way we were building fulfillment in November, December. And the same way we were building product in November, December, where it was like the first pieces of iteration. Maybe let's say there's like 8 pieces of like things that have to come together. We're at like number 3 on sales right now, and I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, 3 on marketing right now. We're at like number 3 on that, and the 4th piece is about to come in with these YouTube ads. Everyone watching this, you're about to be hit with crazy YouTube ads, and then respect. And then like the next piece is gonna come in. Like, we're transitioning a lot of things over to the Launch Socials name. We're also thinking about, like, what's the longevity here? Should we always sell off our personal? Should we have it here off the Launch Socials? We want to make it a sellable asset. You know, I see bigger guys like Cole Gordon. Cole Gordon has to start a brand new separate page and build equity in that page now that he's super big, because it's all in his personal. If he wants to sell his company, you know, it has to be on something separate. Right? Or we saw Hormozy do that with Gym Launch. Like, he had to bring it off his own brand.
Cole Gordon's got a lot of that. He's got like 3 or 4 people who are just like faces for him.
Yeah.
They run ads for, they make content. It's actually super dope.
And I feel like we're moving in that direction. It's going to allow us to hit the scale that we want to hit. Like, we haven't marketed the way that, like, we teach marketing. We teach what we've done so far, but we've been getting our product and our sales process and sales assets to the point where we can actually market for ourselves the way we know how to.
Yeah, and the fulfillment team and the automations and just the infrastructure, dude. Like, we have, what now, 14, 13 people?
Yeah, roughly.
Something like that, or whatever. I don't know. Some of them are like just contractors that do some loose stuff.
And it's
exciting for me, bro, because like you know this better than anyone. Like, I've mentioned I want to be a rock star, and that's true, but like, I'm a creative. Like, I just like to make dope shit, and that's, if I could, like, my perfect day is me wake up and just really put a lot of intention in.
The super interesting thing behind that, I know exactly where you're going with it. Maybe add a little more context, and I'll say what the super interesting thing behind that is.
Well, like, yeah, for me as a creative, like, my perfect day is, you know, just doing all these different, whether it's lifting, sports, action sports, music. Even I love making content, like, but just me waking up and being able to do the things that I enjoy that give me energy, and then pour that like spirit and soul into whatever it is that I'm doing. That's what makes me happy. And I feel like the last 3 years of me being an quote unquote entrepreneur or a marketer or whatever, I like was always kind of fighting that because I didn't have the infrastructure to allow for it.
Yeah.
And now it's like back to square one, but I have all the pieces that allow for that to actually make, like, it actually has the place for it to thrive now. So now when I tap in and cook up a banger, we're fucking riding that shit to the moon. Like, it's super fun.
So there's a couple points here, you know, when you were, maybe say 3 years ago, it's just you don't have any employees or anyone around you. you had that same level of freedom that you have when you build a big company and things are done for you, right? In that regard. I mean, you don't really have freedom when you build a big company. Like, you have responsibility, but you know what I mean? Like, people are doing things for you. You don't have to do everything, work all the time, 24/7. And then you kind of enter this middle period, which we've been in and are kind of exiting. We're coming out the backside of it, which is you have to put so much attention every day into this thing. You have to. It's not a choice. Like, you have to do it, and that probably zaps a lot of your creativity, right? And when it's like, it's a weird cycle, you know?
Yeah.
And it's been there almost like 6 months, right? And we're coming off the backside of it, and now it makes that creativity that you've had all along and the creativity from before super, super useful, because now we have a team. We got Joe, we got Reese, we got the other Joe, we got Sophia, we got Matt, we got Noah, we got Jake, me, right?
And
like
Jonah,
your creativity, and if let's say there's 10 levels that it can reach, and before it could reach like 1 or 2 because of the distribution and the amount of people that could help promote it and put it out there. Now it can reach that 10. The creativity is so much more useful. So when the bangers start dropping and the podcasts are recorded and the vlogs start going, it just goes and goes and goes, because we can actually distribute it the right way and people start to see it.
It's like, it's super interesting. I was talking to one of our clients the other morning, and he was like kind of starting to enter that cycle. Like, he got all his shit on point.
Who?
Joe.
Okay.
Phi Savvy.
Okay.
And we were talking, and like mainly like the big question he had, like, he got his content on point. He like doing well with his offer.
What's next?
Yeah, he was like, the question, he was like, dude, like it's so tough, because if I market, then I have to take the sales calls, and if I take the sales calls, then I have to fulfill, and if I fulfill, then I don't have time to market. He's like, what the fuck do I do? And that's the portal we've been in of that, like the attention you talked about.
And that's especially true when you're building a real company with a real product that actually gets results. You are forced to fulfill. You are forced to get people results. And if you're not, that's how you get chargebacks. That's how you get labeled as a quote scammer. Right? And the people that are labeled like that, they're just the ones selling. They're just the ones marketing. They don't have any fulfillment.
Yeah, but it's just interesting because now we're coming out of it, and dude, I'm so excited to cook, because that's what I do best. If you put anyone in the world, and we got 4 hours to cook, man, I'm out cooking you and your brother and your sister and your girlfriend. Fuck your girlfriend.
There's an interesting choice that everyone has to make. They can reach that level and make 20, 50K a month, chill, just them, whatever, and they don't get burnt out. Or you can enter it with the thought of like grabbing it and like
fucking
building
the dragon,
a huge company, and that's what we've done. Because I've been through that cycle. You know, at the agency, the overhead was what, 30K a month, 30, maybe 40. Our overhead now is like, right now, like as I sit today, we'll spend 100K this month.
I mean, there's a lot of unnecessary shit. Well, not unnecessary, but not. I wouldn't like, that's like personal spending partially too, because it's a choice that we're making.
Sure, but I understand, but it's still like,
it still counts.
It counts to me, and that's it's interesting. It's just an interesting feeling you get. I mean, there's stress there involved for sure.
Yeah,
hair starts falling out, whatever. No,
for real.
But we're on the other side of it, and now it's just scale. Now it's just how many people can see our product. That's why everyone watching this is going to get hit with a YouTube ad, and and you know, how many people can we sell that are actually a fit, and at that point, like you said, it's super, super fun.
It's
cool.
so crazy, because I remember when I got back from Argentina and was partying my ass off, and I remember getting back and just kind of decompressing for a couple days, like had a couple just beach mornings where I was just fucking chilling, and then you and I met and had the conversation of that, where it's like, all right, we got to decide. I think that's right when we started hiring and building out the team, we were like, all right, we got to decide, like, I remember having the conversation of like, we either need to like drastically cut down what we're doing or go all in, because the midpoint doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. And it's crazy to look back and think about that conversation and walking around the loop in South Beach, and now we're here 3 months later, 4 months later, just like the distance that we've covered.
Time warp. Yeah. And when you say distance, I think that what we've done in the past 6 months has been some of the most I've grown as a person ever in the fastest amount of time.
Interesting. How so?
I think that a lot of it is there's a lot of stress in terms of everyone's got to get paid. You know, we got people on our team that are 30 plus years old and they have kids. You know, that's important.
Yeah.
You know, I think one of the
100%.
other, you know, we got to perform. We are forced to perform. I think one of the other pieces is the amount of knowledge that I have gained by us being forced to solve the problems. You know, with my previous businesses, I did that at the start, and then it was just kind of like, yeah, it's cool. You know, it's just a little bit of sales, a little bit of maintenance, a little bit of just like posting the content, etc. Always thinking about how we can get better, for sure. But there was never the exposure to a lot of certain things. And I think a lot of it is because you and I play off each other.
I was going to say that, like, literally, you're saying that, and I was thinking, like, that's what it segues into is how well, like, the reason that you and I together will win no matter what. God's favorites. Like, we meme that. It's true, but we meme it. But it's really that. It's because you have the way your brain works is systems and an organization and, like, building machines.
We got to make sure we hit every piece.
And then I don't know how would you describe how my brain works?
Your brain is a little bit more like, I have the visionary piece in terms of overall big ideas, but you have that in terms of how can we solve this thing with a big vision right now? Like, how can we do this right now with this thing? And it's like some kind of like big thing, and it's very exciting. You get excited about certain things, where I'm very much, let's get this done consistently over and over. Well, I'm like, how can we take that big idea and do it every day, and make it useful and profitable over and over? Yeah. So it's kind of comes back to the conversation where, you know, you have big ideas and winners, right? It's letting the winners run. Yep. I'm able to take the winners that you come up with and let them run and let them be useful forever, if that makes sense. So it's a very lethal combination. You have both pieces there.
100%. I couldn't build, like, I know that we're going to just speed run into a really, really big business, especially with the long-term play that's kind of cooking in the background and what we're building towards.
They don't understand the software.
Probably a month out or two. So a month out from when we start.
So it's like
aggressively
like a month or
pursuing
two.
it.
Yeah.
And like, I know we're going to get to
because that you came up with that big idea, like a lot of the pieces of it. I kind of filled in a couple things, and then I'm going to be able to make it useful. Well, who do we need to talk to?
Yeah.
And we need to make sure it connects with this as well.
I would never go and do that. Like,
right. Like, I know.
It would just be a banger in my drafts.
And I could probably think of the idea to a degree, but I might not put together the exact certain pieces and how it kind of like artistically, fits. So it's that's our combination. Right?
It literally is like left brain, right brain.
Yeah,
it's super interesting. It's super exciting.
And that brings me back to like the point I was making in terms of, I think this is some of the most I've grown as a person because of what I've realized what we're doing. It's very spiritual what we're doing in terms of just like the growth overall. You growing a business is spiritual. It's just a spiritual like 100%. Growth of yourself and who you are as a person. And the business that we have right now and what we're about to accomplish in the next month or two, we would be able to start that in a month overnight. You know, like if we look back,
crazy.
But it's taken us like the last 6 months to actually iterate it, because we thought we knew everything because of what we had previously done. But there's a lot of pieces that are just like little that take a second to actually learn and then go and implement.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because Jared told us that. And Jared, who we had on the podcast, he's like, because he was helping us a little bit. He's like, yeah, if I wanted to start my coaching consulting business overnight again, I'd know exactly what to do in 1 month and be at like $1 million a month. And we're like, and now that we've gone through the process, it's like, oh, I understand now. It's just putting the pieces together and learning each element of it. And now we have that. And it's actually, that's the point I was making, is like, it's credible to grow.
Yeah, it really is. It truly is. And I think the responsibility is a huge aspect of it. I think it's super cool too that like you and I are doing it as best friends that just like randomly met from the internet, and now we're like doing it with all of our best friends, and it's just like everybody's on the same wavelength, the mission, just pushing. It's super dope. It's cool.
It's super cool.
It's
Matt over here. Matt, I don't even know where Matt came from. Say
A lot
something, man.
of Matt hate on the pod today. What for?
Come on, man. Come say something. Introduce yourself.
I don't have a mic, bro.
Come on, come say something.
I came from Canada.
All right. Bet.
So but yeah, doing it with our best friends, doing it with Matt, and yeah, it's crazy. It's the way I look at it. And I'm not saying this to brag, show off, be a dick or whatever, but it's just become normal to us. And you go through the days of trials and tribulations. You got Noah like, oh, dude, like I need to feel free to perform. And you got Kieran, like Kieran's great. He's like, oh, I'm not calling those leads. They're not fit for me to call them. And we're like, dude, you close studios. Like chill out. And you go through that, so it kind of makes the whole experience real. But like the outside looking in, somebody that's just a beginner would look at us in our situation and be like, holy shit, man. I want to be in that exact spot. I want to be building a business with my best friends. I want to, that's incredible. I want to be living in a house with my best friends, building a crazy business. And it just makes me grateful. It just makes me grateful for the position that we put ourselves in, how we've worked, and the team that we've built.
Yeah, and I was talking to Jake about it before we moved, the night where we were just all hungover and whatever. It was just a crazy day.
I wasn't hungover.
Well, that's because you don't go outside. It's possible to get hungover if you're inside all day.
Relax, man.
But we were talking about it, and he was like, "Dude, it's there's a lot to just like think about. You can't if you want to win. You can't stop moving. You can't let little things pull down what you need to do today, because there's always things. Once you enter that portal, there's always things that need to happen, and you just have to do it. And it doesn't really matter how you feel. It doesn't matter what's going on around you. Like, you just basically completely neglect. You trade pieces of you for pieces of the material result that you're striving for. And just now, I feel like this is the first time we do get to kind of reflect on it and talk about it, and because we're sitting down to talk about it. And yeah, man, and it's all coming together, and I feel like.
And now you guys know why. I saw a couple comments in the last podcast that I look super tired, that I need to sleep. Now you guys know why.
I haven't slept in 2 years, brother. That's why I'm up right now. How you gonna get up if you're asleep?
Yeah.
Think about it. How you gonna get up if you sleep?
Come on, man. Just listen to the podcast and enjoy it, man. Don't worry about me sleeping.
It's interesting too, because I genuinely, the pod has become its own little egregore.
Yeah.
In such a weird way.
We're just. I don't even know.
But yeah, the pod has just grown on its own thing. But it's such a microcosm of just everything. I was gonna say something. I kind of lost it, to be honest.
I interrupted you. I got excited.
You tend to do that on the pod.
Yeah. I get excited, and then I'm like, oh, I gotta make that point.
But that brings me back. But the whole point of this is us just to have fun, and I know that's what we set out to do, is document and also grow our brands, because that's what we do, is grow brands.
Yeah.
And the pod is such an interesting sort of corollary to that, because just having fun with it. That's all it is. And I feel like so many people, like, to me, we're different than, I know I'm different than a lot of these cats. A lot of these cats need a lot of work. Just all of them. But the whole thing, it's just like this big charade. Like a
certain niche, or just in general?
Especially in the internet business.
I would say that, like, you look at a lot of the big podcasts. And they're bringing on, like, this is a good example. They're bringing on porn stars. They're bringing on people just to get, and Jake just went on the Whatever podcast last night, and they brought out like sex toys and like porn and stuff.
Dude,
and whatever,
so fucking
just for views.
Yeah,
and they're like using the people there for views. I don't want to do that. I think that's what makes, I don't know, there's like a little bit of a following to the pod right now, and we haven't really put in a crazy amount of effort to it. Wait till we record every day, or whatever it looks like, maybe 3 times a week.
Yeah,
and probably won't be able to record.
And we have access to pretty much any at this point.
We can get
on pretty much anybody on if we really go for it.
And I think that that's the big difference. You know, everyone in the space that you look at, there's very few people that are doing it directly, just authentically.
Yes,
that
was the
ultimate.
ultimate.
A lot of people just bringing on people, porn stars, to get views. Like, I don't care about that. I don't want to promote that. I don't want that to be a part of our brand at all. That's not us. That's not who we are. That's not something we want to put out into the world.
Yeah.
And so we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it just to get views and money.
Yeah. Well, even just aside from that and kind of the clout chasing, demonic, satanic, globalist, you know, all that bullshit, I just feel that nobody puts out the real, raw. I don't know anybody who gets on their pod, and maybe the Klein Ascension boys, but I don't know anybody else that just gets on and talks about what they're doing. What is the actual strategy? There's always an angle or a thing. And, you know, and I feel like we kind of got in that trap a little bit, and you need to
Slightly.
kind of like we not sell out. We've never sold out, but
Ever.
you need to, you know, have that period where you're just in go mode and you just let shit fly and you're talking your shit, whatever.
And
but
you know, it's kind of indicative of who we like. And like, we really like Mike and his music and what he does. And what is he? He's 100% just authentic through and through.
Yeah, I don't like the pod is us, and I don't want to be. Yes, we're gonna grow our company, of course. We're gonna scale the fuck out of our company.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be an entrepreneur, or I don't want to be a marketer.
I'm just me, man.
I'm just Logan.
I do entrepreneurship things.
There's a piece of me, but it's not who I am. And there's so many people that whether they're filming podcasts or they're putting out content, it's just this big. Nobody sees the raw shit, the real shit.
Yeah.
Nobody's willing to open up and say, hey, like there always has to be this perfect image presented. And I think that's one thing that really makes what we're doing different is I don't want to be any of those things. I don't want to be anything. I like Lobo would say, I am nobody. You know, I just want to do my thing, and I want to build cool shit. I want to help people. I want to make art and just like have fun, dude.
And I think, you know, if there's other people that are in our position, it's probably hard to see the vision sometimes because you're not big like the big boys. You're not Adam 22 or whatever, podcast impulsive, whatever. Right?
I don't want to be them.
No, neither do I. But
them.
you're not. You don't have the views yet. You don't have the followers, etc. You can't really see the progress in terms of like no one's really like liking your stuff yet. But I think the way that we are wired has allowed us to see that with this, at least. You know, as Launch Socials grows and as Launch Socials becomes even more not automated, but you know, our time and attention continues to get removed from it as it grows, which is a very interesting concept. As it grows more and as more people are added, our time and attention is removed. As responsibility comes in, our time and attention is removed.
It's interesting because I disagree with that. I don't think our time and attention gets removed, but I think the need for our time and attention to be there gets removed.
Yes. Like it's not required for us to do this exact thing at this time because we have a team that's doing it as well. We can focus on higher leverage things.
Yeah.
But as that happens, we can start to really think about what does the associates become.
Yeah.
Right now it's a podcast and, you know, a vlog. I think that clothing brand comes into play. I think that certain products come into play or whatever that we're just genuinely interested in building.
A saltwater fascism regime takeover, perhaps?
Exactly. It's basically a propaganda engine. So, but my point is, overall, we the way we're wired for some reason, we're able to see that bigger picture with what this is, whatever it is. You know, I don't think we would be doing this still if we didn't get traction on the first couple episodes. You know, like if we put out 5 episodes and we got 100 views each, would we keep doing it? I don't know. But because a couple views have came in and we've got some traction, we're like, oh, okay, I can see the bigger picture with that. This can become something and that we're excited about.
Yeah, it reminds me of, it's an interesting concept in terms of conceptualizing the vision, right? Because that to me is if I had to point to one thing that has engineered my relative success thus far, it would be that, is being able to create vision from nothing. Like when I remember clear as day being high as fuck in my dorm room at 4 a.m. Still wasn't sleeping then, wasn't sleeping now. Nothing's changed, right? But being high and just, it was 2 weeks before or a week before finals, and I'm writing this finals paper, and I just don't care about the finals paper at all. And at that point, I had gone down this rabbit hole of like just the esoteric kind of schizo stuff down the rabbit hole, right? I feel that something is different or weird about the world that I perceive, that I'm not being told. And I kind of explored that, and I had the health issues, and then I dug into that more and realized what's actually being fed to me via my thoughts and the media that's engaged in the world, or the food that I'm eating, or just everything. You see how broken everything kind of is. Yeah. And I remember clear as day being up all night that night and just the typical, how should I drop out of college? Gary Vee video, Grant Cardone video later. And it's 7:30 a.m. I still haven't slept, and I'm calling my family telling them I'm dropping out of college. But I remember so vividly being able to see what I'm doing now. And it never, the specifics never really make perfect sense.
It wasn't exactly this.
It wasn't exactly this, but loosely it was. Like, what did I want to do? I wanted to be in really good shape and be in good health and just feel like I knew I could feel and be able to provide for myself and my friends and my family.
Always that I would always see the people on the internet. And this is where the internet's great. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of negatives of the internet. But the internet is great because if you're on the right plane of existence and you're searching the right thing, you're going to find these pieces of content. Mm-hmm. So I would see these guys doing their podcasts or FaZe Clan blowing up and then having a house with their boys, playing video games and making content online. There's nothing really different than what we're doing to a degree. And I would see that and be like, dang, I kind of want to do that. That looks crazy. And we're doing it from a different lens. We have a lot more of the business aspect. Mm-hmm. I would say a lot more of the discipline. We're not really video gamers, if at all, right? I played 1 or 2 games with you the first time for 5 years. But I think that's a perfect example of it. I saw those guys on the internet when I was super young. Why not me?
Yeah.
Why can't I? And then you start to engineer the roadmap of it, and I'm like, well, I need to do real estate first, and then turn into car sales. And then it's like, well, I'm going to drop ship because that makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to start theme pages. And it's kind of come full circle where I don't feel that imposter syndrome anymore, that I can come on here and have a conversation about whatever, us building the business, and we document it, and we start to become that person. Yeah. And it's taken 4 or 5 years. Mm-hmm. But it's here, and it's the way you say it, it's actually it's pretty incredible.
It's crazy just to transmute something into nothing, and it is incredibly spiritual to be able to do that. And I remember looking at my life and what I saw was possible and seeing people out there doing. I remember seeing Jared do it on Instagram, and he's in Norway or wherever and traveling, making money from e-com, and I was just like, fuck, man, I can do that. Or hearing. Yeah. I love music. Hearing that, I was like, I can do this. I know I can. I played guitar growing up. I've done all these different things. I know I can do that artistically. Yeah. I have the talent. And then I think, for me, fitness stuff was the backup plan. What I really wanted to do is be a fucking rock star and make stuff that just gives you that feeling in your stomach. That's just that rage, not angry rage, but hyper pop Gen Z rage. I'm turned up, having fun, talking my shit, whatever. And online business, fitness was the ultimate fallback because I knew enough about it and I was good enough at it to make that work. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I did. And then online business was the step up from that. And then now we're kind of actualizing or have actualized that. Obviously, we have a lot of room to grow in all of these things, right? But and then now getting back to that final vision of what we want to do. And it just kind of ties in with now what we're talking about with the pod, with the vlog, with everything that we're doing. Now we get to kind of sit back and think, well, damn, we can create whatever we want.
Because we have the tool of cash flow now. Cash flow and money is nothing more than the tool to actually go and build those things. Mm-hmm. I look at it now. what gives you freedom and power in this world, and it's owning assets and owning land. You know, we talked about this before on the podcast, buying real estate, buying farmland, and stuff like that. You know, building this thing allows us to go do that, secure that, and then we can also go do all the creative things we want.
Yeah, it's just super cool to be in a position where now we can look at the moonshot. I can look at the path for me to get to $100 million. And I'm like, I can do that because I already did this. Or I can do, or, you know, I can
You can very clearly see it. We couldn't see it at the start. We couldn't even see this at the start. To me, monthly revenue numbers are a very good metric of how my mindset has like grown over the years. Like first it's 10K a month. You get there, you realize 10K a month is not really that much money. It's basically 100K a year. And it's like, well, 20. And you get there and it's, well, that's really not that much. Yeah. And then it's 50 and 100. And as I've hit them, it's really never enough. Because I think the reason behind that is the goals keep expanding. And as you go up those levels, you start to acquire more skills and knowledge, and you can see the vision that's bigger. And then you're like, oh, man, like I need more cash flow to fund this vision. It's nothing more than a funding of the vision. It's not, oh, I need cash just to be rich. It's I'm trying to fund this huge thing that I'm trying to do. Yeah,
and to get to even that point, you have to be able to, you know, see the smaller vision, overcome your own personal insecurities, ineffectiveness, various other things that you just have to beat from a mindset perspective and from a character perspective and the skill set you actually have. You just beat those things, you actualize that vision, and then you can sit back. Like I remember this morning on our walk at 7 a.m., like me, like, oh man, like I just want to, like now we're at the point where my creative brain can actually cook. And I was talking to you about, I was like, you know what, I need a war. And really what that means is I need to align my vision for what we're doing with that big impact that we want to have. And it's super interesting because to me, like, it's just funny how it all changes. You know, if someone watches our stuff or sees my content or they join our company, I want to be able to instill in people, number one, like confidence, because I was a black sheep for having that confidence when I started out. People thought I was fucking idiot. Fucking the people that would ride my dick in high school because I would score 4 touchdowns in a game. No, he went insane. Fuck you, first off. And so I had that delusional confidence that I could just be myself and be swagged up and talk my shit. Nobody wants to be serious anymore. Everybody just wants to be passive and like, oh no, I don't really want that thing, because they don't want to hear the backlash from it.
Maybe do it later.
Yeah, like they don't want to call their shot because they're scared that people are gonna just shit on them. And you know, when you don't really know, you don't have the body of work to back it up. You're like, it is scary. You do have a bit of doubt. You do have self-doubt. And that's like really, I've been thinking a lot about what the impact that I want to have on other people is, because now that's how we get to that next level. And it's like, I want to inspire people to know that they can be themselves.
You can go on a heroic mission, brother.
They can be themselves, and they can be swagged up, and they can like maybe not be like brash, but they can be loud about who they are. And it's okay to be that. It's okay to take yourself seriously and feel good about it. Go and do it, because we need more people like that. We need less fucking rule follower, like the people at your apartment building. No, you can't move out on Sunday. Dude, what the fuck are you talking about? We're gonna move out on Sunday morning if we want to.
You know, we do need more of that. It'll never be the majority, not even close.
But that's not our listeners. If you're watching the Associates pod, you're not that, because you believe in God. You believe in family. You're not
an H3 fanboy.
Yeah, you're not sitting here, you know, subscribe to OnlyFans, which blows my mind that people even do that. But that's like the impact that I want to have. And then also the vehicle is like, you know, we can really help people build like solo against the grain, build their skill sets on the internet using all the leverage that we have available to us, and then all the knowledge and stuff that we've compiled, you and I collectively 10 years of doing this stuff and figuring it out and watching the YouTube videos and doing the Google searches. And it's just cool, bro, like to be able to sit here. And now that's just really, I've been thinking a lot about that, like what that next step is. And as we keep getting settled into the routine here, we've been here for like, a week now?
Week and a half.
A week and 2 days. Just thinking a lot about that vision and the impact that I actually want to have. And we're dangerously close to just kind of...
Super close.
We just kind of settled into the routine a little bit.
I think that one of the pieces for me has been, my personal brand. I'm ready to grow it. Right? I'm really ready to grow it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that me talking about content and specific business pieces all day is not who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I that is a piece of me. That's like 15-20% of me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. I don't enjoy talking about the 3 content strategies you need to know for 2023.
Yeah.
On my personal brand. And I think that one of the recent switches that I've had in my head, and we've talked about briefly, and what we're doing is moving towards the paid ads a little bit more, putting a lot of stuff on the organic launch socials growth rather than you and me growing and promoting just from our following. And it starts to free up my mental bandwidth to start to make the things that I want to make. Tell the story about how I fixed my acne that was super, super bad. Or just talk about, family life. Or talk about the bigger vision beyond just the business. Or it also allows me to really think about, I can document the growth of launch socials on my personal now as like, this is something cool that I'm building. And the selling can be done from launch socials.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to sell to the audience and then say, I made this much money from the audience.
Yeah.
Like that to me is very, not inauthentic. It's just like, just kind of reading the room. It's a little bit of being a dipshit.
Yeah. Facts.
So it allows me to do that. And what I really want to do is just document the growth of the business, what I'm doing.
But 4 months ago, we had to do that.
Yeah.
We had to.
Exactly.
Because we had to beat the portal.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Mario Kart. Like, you can't just, no, you fall off the road, you get back on, you fucking speed.
And then the podcast clips to me hit way harder because I'll actually go and post something that is about the documentation now.
Mm-hmm.
And then people are like, wow, that's super cool.
Yeah.
And then they're probably more likely to buy launch socials because they see that and they're like, these guys are super authentic, super raw about it.
Yeah.
They're just super genuine. And they're telling a story about the business that they documented. And it's real proof that it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we had to go through the portal to get here. But now it's super exciting to be in that position and we can just, we can build whatever we want, bro. That's insane. Just whatever. Like, actually, whatever. What do we want to build? Well, because we can build it. Like, you can do anything.
I'm going to buy more farmland than Bill Gates, and I'm going to have based farms. All organic, raw milk, raw cheese, all of that. All completely grass-fed, grass-finished. Maybe. That's an idea that I have. And then own the grocery store distribution network of it.
That kind of shit's so cool to me.
Well,
like building, like even just this, like even
like a physical, something physical.
Like,
the reason I like that idea so much is because I was thinking about this the other day. That's something I'm going to do for myself and the family that I build. So I'm going to have my farm, and we're going to have our resources, and we're going to be self-sufficient without any grocery store or distribution network needed. And it's like, well, if that makes sense, can I help other people get access to that resource and do the same thing? And if the answer is yes, which I think it is, it's just a vision I have right now, then I would try to build that. I would try to do that. And that's like a big vision I would execute on. And I think a lot of things come down to that. How does Launch Social start? The same skills that we used to grow the original things that we built just got packaged up to go and help more people.
Yeah, it's super interesting because, I think everybody wants to go build these things that affect the material world, but the generation we grew up in, like, dude, especially if you don't come from, not that we don't come from anything, like our family, we both have, like,
we certainly don't come from wealthy money.
I'm incredibly grateful for the family that I have and the upbringing that I have, but like, I didn't get handed a business. I didn't get handed a business that I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I can just do this and make it work. I wish I did. It would be super cozy. I wouldn't have had all the stress that I've had the past 3 years of figuring it all out. But it's super cool now and to be in that position where we can go and start to transmute things and build in the world and build the world that we want to live in, from top to bottom. Architecture, food,
It's
everything.
to me, it's the proper process of growing up. You know, people grow up, they become adults, and they work a job. And to them, that's growing up. And they're just doing the same thing. They're living their life, etc. But they're not building the things that they actually want. We've grown up so much in this process, taking on the responsibilities of what it actually means to build what we're building and what has to be done. And we were talking about it earlier, the stress piece of it. We are going through the proper process of growing up. The process, it's very, I'm not going to say biological, but it's probably how our ancestors did it in regards to they had to become men by going through the trials and tribulations. And most people just go and work a job and they don't have to go through trials and tribulations, and they choose to grow up, and they really don't.
I wouldn't even frame it as like they go work, because you could do that and work a job.
Yeah,
100%. But whether it's a job, I mean, I think most people should pursue equity no matter what.
I don't think having a job is bad. I guess I'm saying if they're settling and they're not really
pursuing their like divine potential,
and they're not really growing something. Going through trials and tribulations in general.
Yeah, and I think about it when I think about that. I feel like I said this to someone recently, but I said on the pod that I was on right before we left Miami, I think about people who, like the Oregon Trail, right? People who were pioneers in paving going out west in America when there was nothing there, and it's literally wilderness, right? There's no anything. There's Native Americans, but there's no civilization really.
That stuff is
there's
so
no
dope to
infrastructure. And I think about like those people, the people that did that and were the pioneers of the American Midwest or West, right? They were their own farmer, rancher, doctor, carpenter, blacksmith, tailor. I mean, name anything. They did everything themselves. Like, they were rugged. And people now, and it's a beautiful thing that we have all the infrastructure that we have in society, but for most people, the infrastructure has actually robbed them of the ability to go
and become something
and create and take responsibility for what they create in this world, as opposed to using it as a stepping stone that makes it all easier to create faster, which is what it should be. And like that's where I want to get to, because I look at most everything. Like I look at my hometown, when I go home, and it's like, yes, there's a functioning society there, but how many of the small businesses are really
that's the thing. It's
doing
small
well.
businesses that aren't doing well. People don't go there anymore because it's cheaper to go to the big box store. It's cheaper to go to.
It's faster to get your groceries delivered.
It's faster to go to Target, and it's just submitting to a corporation at the end of the day.
Yeah,
and it's that conversation is always super interesting to me, because there was always like socialists and whatever that hated the corporations. And now they're
the ones at the Starbucks. Grow your own fucking coffee then, if you're so fucking socialist.
And it's not even a conservative or whatever. It's just people like us that are individuals, that are independent individuals that don't want to submit to the corporation. Yeah, we use it at some point, right? We do. We go to Whole Foods.
Yeah.
Currently. But our vision is bigger than that. Our vision is to not do that. And I think it's people like us and the people that are watching us and kind of like the audience or the circle that we're in that are going to make those changes.
Well, they already are, dude. Look at Van Man.
Yeah.
Like, Van Man's on One American Network. Telling these motherfuckers, you shouldn't buy from Clorox. Fuck Clorox. Love Van Man. But that's a perfect example. Or Solbra, or what Lobo's doing, or just like all of our friends. We have access to the most incredible network of people that like are building these amazing things. And it's really like, it comes down to, it's so funny because we posted content. Like,
buy low on socials.
Yeah, we don't even need to sell people on it at this point, because it's like, dude, like, it's pretty.
We know these people have access to those resources and are able to build what we're building and go and further build the vision that gets more of those resources by actually posting content on the internet and building that network there, making money from there, all of that.
Yeah. And I think, too, for me, one big thing about this house that I know, or even just being around you, like, you and I share, like, the piece maybe that you're missing, not missing, it's not like it's a problem, right? But, like, I still want to go out and have the like crazy highs and lows and like just seek danger a little bit, where I think you maybe less as much want to do that. But in general, you and I have the same big vision that we're working towards, right? And I think a huge thing about this house is, for me, it makes that real for me, because when I'm in my South Beach apartment in my box in the sky, and my apartment was beautiful, like literally living in Google campus and doing all this shit, like it's just not real for me at that point, because it's just like it's fake. I can't
interfacing with someone else that has that same vision or like understands the potential of what's being built.
I'm just like it's just like these things are trapped in my head and I can't externalize them at all, and it drives me crazy, because it's just like solitude, basically. I could be around people but by myself at the same time.
You know what I mean? It's such a great way to put it.
Like
I always felt that way.
Yeah,
always felt that way.
That's how I felt in college and just like a lot of places, right? But when you and I are here and we can have these conversations, it becomes real to me, because I'm talking to other people about it, and it's like, oh, yes, this makes sense. I'm not just in the portal right now being a fucking giga autist.
It's actually super funny, because a lot of times the things that we say, you and I say individually to other people, they do not understand. They just don't. But we will say them to ourselves, and I will say it to you and you will say it to me in different ways or whatever it is, and we will understand each other.
Yeah.
I'm able to communicate whatever is going on in your head into something tangible, and you're able to take some of the things that I'm doing and make them tangible as well.
Yeah.
And that's that's why we're very good business partners.
Yeah.
And that's why it works. I just notice it, right? Like talking to some of the sales guys sometimes, or talking to Matt or something. It's just like sometimes a layer will be missed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so that's a big thing for me, is because it's just like, yeah, dude, it gets, like, I think one huge thing that in the essentialist version of what I'm trying to say is like community, and being able to find the people that have that vision that you have and share it together. Yeah. Like I did the lone wolf shit. I went out and went to the bar by myself and talked to girls, or went and made sure I was locked in and I didn't talk to anyone. You know what I mean? Like, I did that grind period. And you should, like, young men especially should have a period where you're fucking by yourself. You're not talking to anybody. You're not doing it. You're just working on you and getting your shit right. But at the end of the day, man, I think way more prevalent is people that just have a complete absence of that community. Yeah. That's why the modern world is the way it is, because people lack communities. Their families are broken. They're
spread out in the suburbs.
They're spread out.
Neighbors they hate.
Yep. They're just isolated completely, and there's no reinforcement that allows you to build. You can't always build from a negative place. You can't always build from an isolationist place. You can't. The world won't take you very far doing that. You need other people, fundamentally. And I think that that's really the big thing about what we're doing now, is we have that I have like the right environment for me, and I know you really like it, being kind of out of the hoopla of Miami.
It's not even that, man. Like, it's not even the hoopla in general, because I can focus myself when I need to focus myself. You know that better than anyone, right? Very disciplined. I think it's more so I feel better here, and it works because there's people here that, you know, we like, and it's us, but we also know other people, right? There's probably like 5 or 10 people we can name that are in this area, redacted, that that we know that we like. So it makes it you know, able to be done. I couldn't move to the middle of Arkansas. Let's say Arkansas was the most beautiful place to live in. I couldn't live there because I don't know anyone there.
Matt, can you pull that light string?
Is that no good?
Okay.
All right. You can edit the video lights after, eh?
Don't worry about it, man.
Yeah,
okay.
you definitely.
I couldn't move there to the middle of Arkansas, but I think the getting out of the Miami was, man, I don't need to be here. I don't need to be here. I can be in a place that I sleep better in, that is a better quality of life, that I don't have to be around all this EMF Wi-Fi routers all day. Cooking me while I sleep.
You love your sleep, huh?
Well, you know what I mean. Like you just it's a more quality life in general. You're around people that you enjoy. We're all in one spot. Forgot where I was going with that, but it's not necessarily the hoopla of Miami. It's just the locked-in focus on what the actual objective is.
Yeah.
And we're able to do it while having a quality of life.
Yeah, it's an exciting thing, and I feel like this is really the first time you and I are actually talking about it, because every other time it's just like, oh, well, did you get this done, or did you get this done, or why not, and we're talking shit to each other or whatever, and it's yeah, man, it's super cool to.
I like the podcast version of Logan. He's super nice.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
We can dial up the fucking intensity if you want, fucker. Easy, man.
Easy, man. Oh my God.
Not while the cameras are rolling.
It's getting a little dark in here.
Yeah,
I think this is a good episode back. We're going to record a lot.
Fuck yeah.
We're about to go to the gym and rip back day super hard.
Well, dude, it's so funny because, like, just to finalize this, I mean, number one, I appreciate you. You know, I know there's some people that really, like, fuck with the associates, and I appreciate your support through all of this, and just, you're probably watching us grow, too, and just, like, seeing it all, and I appreciate that. But, dude, like, we've been working, and now we get to actually, like, do this shit for real.
And the vlogs don't make it look like we work, but we're working, guys.
Yeah, definitely. But, yeah, dude, this is, like, think about that. We could so easily drop a pod every day.
Mm-hmm.
Easy. Drop a vlog every day.
We might blow up if we do that.
Yeah, maybe.
For real.
This young Hitler Mussolini, man, this shit too easy. Drop the 808s on it.
On the associates, man.
But good episode 29. I'm going to hit
29,
back
yeah.
after this. Nick's going to hit back after this. We're going to fucking force Matt to hit back
Maybe a
after
little
this.
biceps. Matt, you're getting there, man. You're starting to fill out a little bit, man. Proud of you.
Dude, Matt was skimboarding the pool today, and it was pretty fire.
Bet.
Yeah.
Bet.
But,
Well,
yeah, episode 29. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
We got a lot more shit
See
cooking.
you guys in episode 30.
Watch, the
Maybe
cook-
in a
the-
couple days.
The cook-up's coming.
Vlog 3 coming too.
Yeah, facts.
100K Instagram followers tomorrow. Maybe if we run the ads.
Porsche 911.
Jeep Wrangler.
Yeah. That's
I'm gonna build a Camaro and vlog it.
That would be fire.
Just
I'm
gonna
gonna
have a
get-
garage.
I'm going to get a nice Wrangler and start
Blow it up.
surfing every weekend.
No, we're gonna blow up some cars on the channel for clout. No.
That's what I really want to do. If I could just produce music and make videos for the internet and surf, I'd be a super
I
happy
think
bubby.
I think we're about 3 months away from that, man. So keep watching, guys, so we can do that. Episode
See you next
29,
time.
Done.